once again to my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. The immense kind of love you guys give to me is so much. Thank you for my last video. As short and simple, was it quite short? Yes, it was short. My intro was short. As short and simple as it was, look at the comments. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Alright, so today I have something special for you. And before we go, please don't forget to like and subscribe and also share. Like, subscribe, and share, as well as comments in this comment section below, right? Below, please do comment. Please do comment. It gives me joy, and it makes me feel that yes, people are interested in what I'm doing, and not just that people are interested, but I'm actually communicating to people. I'm not just blabbing, I'm not just talking, I'm not just saying anything that comes to my head. So today I have something very special for you, something very special. Okay, so today I want to tell you a story, a very interesting story. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Adeyemo, Gist of Me Janet, and I have a blog of my own. I write. By the grace of God, I've written my first book, Uniquely Created. I write. So yes, I have a story to tell you. It's story time. It's story time. And today's story. What is the title of today's story? Okay, I want to tell you a story of a young boy. And I'm being realistic. It's a story that touches the heart. The story touches the heart. So let me tell you about it. When this child was born, he was given a diary. I don't know if you have a birth gift. Is that correct? A birth gift. A gift that was given to you from the day you were born, probably by your grandparents. Some people are actually giving gifts when they are born. And some parents actually name their children according to the situation in which they are born. Is that sentence correct? Okay, so this particular young boy, when he was born, he was given a gift. And this gift was by his grandmother. This gift was a diary. Actually, yes, it was a diary. This boy usually writes whatever happens to him in that book, such that whatever occurrence that happens, it's in that diary. Some people are very fond of keeping diaries. Like this guy started keeping diary when he was 4 years. He was smart. He started writing at the age of 4. At least he could read and write at the age of 4. So he started putting stories together at the age of 4. I don't know. There are people who actually started singing at the age of 3, 4, 5. Some people also started writing books at the age of maybe not books actually, but some people started writing at the age of 4 or 5. So this boy was more of a writer. He started writing at the age of 4 or 5. So he started keeping diary. And the book his grandmother gave to him was so big. It was so big that at least it could last for some number of years. So the long and short of it was that he wrote his daily activities in that book. And when the book finished, he compiled, he got another book similar to the book that was given to him by his grandmother, and then he compiled it. He fixed it to that book, so the book was just getting big. But there was something special about this young boy. Although he was very fond of keeping records of events and the likes, something pathetic was happening to him that his parents didn't really take cognizance of. And that was the fact that he usually sleepwalk. Some people are very fond of talking in their sleep. Some people can walk in their sleep. Have you ever seen somebody that sleeps and the person is walking? The person is actually sleeping, person stands up and begins to walk. The person that was the kind of stuff the guy does at night. He wasn't into any occultic thing or so, but that was just a defect in his life, and his parents saw it as nothing. He's the kind of child that when they wake him at night, he'll be like, just some children do that. So he was that kind of person, and then he's graduated from just chewing his mouth in his sleep to talking in his sleep. For instance, kind of like, leave me alone. That was the kind of person he was. So from sleep talking, he started sleepwalking, and all this actually was between the age of 4, 5, 6, 7. And during this period, he still kept record of these activities. Then, by the time this guy was around the age of 10, it graduated from sleepwalking, to a very serious issue. So let's be more serious now. This young boy at that age had a very big experience, and this is what happens when somebody, how do I explain this? Okay, the experiences he had in the daytime, he responds to them at night. Somebody's scared. Okay, let me explain. For instance, somebody is like, let's call him John. For instance, somebody is like, John, give me your pen in the daytime, and he says he's not going to give the person his pen in the daytime. In the night, he will start answering the question that was asked to him in the daytime. Okay, somebody's like, John, please can you give me your pen in the daytime? And it's like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. In the night when he sleeps, so I just be talking to his sleep. No, I'm not going to give it the pen. I'm not going to give it the pen. That was just it. And it's like, when he starts to do that, it's like just keep up and then readjust. So he started responding to activities that happened in the daytime. If he goes to class, and the interesting part of it was that this guy was very brilliant. So when he goes to class, when the teacher teaches him in school at night, he'll start responding to the teaching of the teacher at night. Maybe 1 plus 1 is 2 at night. He'll be saying 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. Clap for yourself. I got it. He was actually talking, usually talking. So, and with that, being that he was brilliant, he was very handsome, he was a young boy growing up. So his parents actually were concerned, but they didn't really see much in it. Like, he's been doing it for, like, he's been doing it right from when he was young, so there's nothing you get by it. Gradually, this guy graduated from 10 years. Did I say graduated? Days rode by, years rode by, and soon he was in the university. When he got into the university, he was still sleep talking and answering events that happened in the daytime. But it was not much of a problem like that because he was a brilliant guy. He was leading his class and he still kept his diary. It's not a bad thing to keep diary. I hope there's nothing wrong with keeping diaries. So he was still keeping his diary, sleep talking, sleepwalking, and responding to events in the daytime. And of course, he wasn't a bad boy. So don't think he was into some kind of mysterious stuff. John had a quarrel with somebody in the daytime. So after the quarrel, he fled up like, I want you to tell me that. I want you to say this to me. Blah 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 blah. So John went back to his hostel after classes, and in the broad daylight, something mysterious happened. He heard his own voice, exactly the way it sounded when he had a quarrel with that person. Like, do you understand? After that particular event, that particular day caused a big shift in John's life because he became aware of what was happening to him. Previously, he wasn't really aware. Of course, he knew that was happening to him from what his parents had told him, from videos he had watched his parents record. But most times when he sleep talks, when he sleepwalks, when he responds to events in the time, he wasn't really conscious. But for this particular one, he brought it to his awareness what was happening to him because he had his voice. And after that particular incident, it kept reoccurring. Like whatever happens in the daytime, and it now became very interesting because he started keeping records of this. Remember, John keeps diaries. So the day he had his own voice in his room in broad daylight, he kept record of it. And when he kept record of it, after keeping record of it, the following day, he hears his voice again. Probably something happened, maybe in class, there was a question. He hears his voice exactly the way that thing happens, and he kept keeping records. It graduated from him not just hearing his voice to now hearing his voice and hearing the voices of other people that had interacted with him in the daytime. He kept keeping record. Do you understand? He told his parents about it, and of course, I think that was the moment they knew something was actually wrong. They started praying for John, raising prayer points in church, and the likes. John was also in the school fellowship, Christian fellowship. So John raised prayer points in church, prayer words, praying, and the likes. One day, something happened. John went to school with a friend. His diary was in his bag. You know, his diary by now would have been very, very big. Of course, John loved his diary. His grandmother, she's a sweet woman. She is or she was. If she's not alive, then she was a sweet woman. If she's alive, she is a sweet woman. Whichever way, she's sweet. So he took his diary along with him. He actually wanted to get a new book, something that looks like his diary, to fix to his diary, like his pile of diaries. Yes, so that he don't get a book that is not of equal size with the other books. So he took the book along with him to school. When he got to school, he wanted to do some stuff. So he had to take the book and fix it. And he kept the book in someone else's bag. And along the line, the person left the school before him. So he wasn't able to get a new diary. He wasn't also able to fix a new diary in his pile of diary. Imagine how big it would be. He wasn't able to fix other books in that diary. Or what am I saying? He wasn't able to fix a new book to the diary. He wasn't also able to get a new book since he didn't know the actual size. Like he didn't want to just get any book and fix them. So the person had taken the book home. So when he got to the hostel that night, he didn't have the experiences he usually have. He didn't hear his voice because those experiences, of course, he had started raising prayer points in church and fellowship. His parents were praying for him. He wasn't always safe. He was always conscious of the fact that he might hear his voice, he might sleep talk and all. So he didn't hear his voice that night. Not just in the night, it happens anytime. The long and short of it was that when he got back to the hostel, he did not hear his voice. And he was like, hello. The following day, his friend called him. His friend was like, that John, his friend was like, that John, you left your diary with me. So he was like, I'm sorry, can you go that? I was looking for it. But they just spoke like friends. Why did you leave your book with me? So John took back his diary. And yes, he started experiencing this stuff. I guess I can guess what you are thinking. You're actually thinking that it was his diary that was causing it. Well, let's hear more of the story. So He took back his diary. Then a few weeks later, his friend called him. His friend was like, John, that there was something that happened to him a few days ago, a few weeks ago. Oh, brother, what happened? He now explained to him that when he got back to his hostel that night, he was feeling strange, blah 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 blah. So he told his friend actually told John that he was feeling strange when he got back to his hostel some days back and all. So John was like, and some of the things his friend said was actually similar to what John used to explain and used to experience. And of course, John never told his friend about it. But that was his friend only had that experience just one day. So John was like, okay, don't worry, it is well. We hope you. Sha spoke to him like a church boy will speak to. So he had to speak to a good friend. Sorry, speak to a friend. Yeah. So John got back to his hostel that day and began to trace. He was trying to align his friend's experience and his own experiences for years. Then, while aligning it, he realized that experience actually happened the day his friend took his diary to his hostel. And he remembered that day he didn't have such experience because he remembered calling his parents to inform his parents that, it seems like your prayers are already working, that he did not have that experience. When he took back his so loving diary, that experience started. Again, so John was kind of skeptical about his diary. So he told, and thank God for the kind of person John was. He knew he had a very, very serious plight. So he was an open person. He told the church authorities that this is what's happening to him. And when he realized that he didn't have that experience that night, he told his parents, he told the church authorities. So he began to feel that it was his diary that was causing it. Probably because that diary has been with him since he was young. His friends took the diary just one day and he had similar experiences. So he went to the church and he told the church authority about it. So the diary was taken away from John and kept in the church. And yes, sincerely, John was liberated. Like, he never had that experience again. And sincerely, just like you guessed right, it was his diary that was causing it. Let's talk about the story. The diary represents sin. John's diary represents sin. The diary was given to him at birth by his grandmother. The diary was given to him at birth. That simply entails and describes the fact that in sin were we born. In sin did our mother conceive. Irrespective of how dear your past is to you, irrespective of how complicated it is, irrespective of how entangled you've been in your past, you need to break loose of any chain, anything connecting you with your past life once you're in Christ. And the fact is that you have to be free. Since you've chosen to follow God, since you've chosen to follow God, since you've chosen to walk with Jesus, you need to be totally free from the past. If not, the past will keep calling you. If not, the past will keep haunting you. If not, the past will still keep coming to take what belongs to it. That's more reason why you need to be totally free from your past. You see, the life of a Christian who is not totally free from his or her past is just like, or can be viewed as a bag of sugar. Yes, a bag of sugar, a bag containing sugar. Yes, okay, can be viewed as a bag containing sugar. A bag containing sugar always be traced by ants. irrespective of where you keep that bag. That the ants keep tracing this bag doesn't mean they are after the bag. They are actually after the contents of the bag. If you keep salt in a bag, ants won't follow that salt. But if you keep sugar in a bag, ants will definitely follow the sugar, especially when the bag is a little bit torn and sugar is kind of dripping out of the bag. Ants will certainly follow the bag. They are after the sugar, not the bag. You are the bag. Your past is the sugar. If you don't turn that sugar off the bag, if you don't drop the past totally, if you don't drop all that belongs to the past, ants will definitely come for you. They'll keep haunting you, keep calling you, and keep coming. They'll keep coming for what belongs to them. You see the life of John in our story. John was conscious of the fact that something was wrong with him, but he was ignorant of the source of his problem. But hey, you are not ignorant of the pain, the cry, the nightmares you have. You're not ignorant of them, and definitely you are not also ignorant of the source of this pain, the source of the nightmare, the source of the anxiety, the source of the insecurity, the source of confusion, the source of being scared all the time, the source of not being free with yourself, the source of having this guilt in you despite the fact that you are saved. The source of this is your past. Probably you've gotten your hands into something you're not supposed to get your hands into when you did not know Christ, and now it's as if you want to get out. And yes, you've given your life to Christ, but it's as if, how can you get out of this, friend? You need to get free, get loose of your past. The diary was sin. The diary was handed to John by his grandmother. His grandmother represents the originator of sin, Satan. And he kept carrying that diary all his life. And the mysterious things that kept happening to him was because of the diary. And of course you guessed right, it was because of the diary. That diary is sin. It's in his past. It was given to him when he was born. In sin did your mother conceive you. You need to get free of the past. Are there things you need to return? Probably you've taken what doesn't belong to you, and each time you are in your room and you just cite that, it always give you reminiscences of your past. Please return it. And you know one thing about restitution? Restituting, you need to be very wise, like very, very wise, so that you don't get into problem. Like you're trying to escape from a problem, you don't eventually get into problems, because some restitutions they demand cancel, like godly cancels. They demand wisdom. Yes, some restitutions demand a lot of wisdom. So please, if you're in that kind of situation where you need to restitute and you're contemplating, oh my God, it's because I gave my life to Christ, so I have to restitute this, and restituting it, I don't want to get into trouble with this person, I don't want to get into trouble with this or that. Fine, there's no problem. Meet people who are godly. Pray before you go, of course, so that they won't speak of themselves. God will speak through them. Pray to God, then meet the people who are godly, get godly counsels, and by the grace of God, and with the godly counsel from those people, I pray that God will lead you to do the right thing appropriately. The past still keeps haunting you, still keeps coming to take what belongs to it, and that thing that belongs to it could be something that you've eaten and you cannot return. Probably when you were in the world, you got money from them, and for crying out loud, probably you got a huge amount of money that you don't even have the strength to repay them back, and they keep using that as a kind of way to haunt you, as a kind of way to get back at you, as a kind of way to tell you if you're not coming back, we're going to deal with you and all. Remember that Jesus paid it all. I understand that you've eaten from your past and you cannot repay, you cannot repay. You don't have the strength, the money, the capacity right now to repay. You know what? Jesus paid it all. There's nothing you can't take to God in prayer. There is nothing you can't take to God in prayer. Stop wrestling of your accord. Stop wrestling on your own. Jesus Christ, He was merciful enough to save you. Now go back to Him. Tell Him what you're facing. And hey, things will get better. And yes, probably before you got saved, you never had, some people, before they got saved, they did not get their hands into anything fishy or something that could land them inside one big trouble and all. But yes, they are born again. But it's as if some negative things keep calling them. And these negative things are actually calling them not because these individuals got their hands into that negative problem, but because from their birth they were actually fixed in that thing without their consent. They were actually fixed in that problem without their consent, and now they are saved. Now they've given their life to Christ, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, somebody just comes around and is telling them they have to pay some particular due, so they have to do this, they have to do that. Hey, I want you to know that you are a Christian. Whatever you bind on earth is actually bound in heaven. Whatever you lose on earth is loosed in heaven. Hello. At the name of Jesus, every power, every knee will bow. At the name of Jesus, every knee will bow. Jesus Christ has given us the key to our breakthrough, to our success. It's in our hands. All you have to do is just to open up to God. God knows what you're passing through. You understand that these individuals are calling you. These individuals are calling you for things that you know nothing about, probably from birth, probably from your family, probably from whatever source. And it's as if there is something that has been handed over to you by somebody you don't know about, and they keep coming back like they need that stuff from you, and you're just like, you know nothing about this, you know nothing about this. At the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow. God was so merciful to save you. That God has sufficient power to deliver you. So talk to Jesus, and I pray that God is going to deliver you from every pain, every heartache, every nightmare, every disturbance that you are passing through. You are His own. You are a child of God. You've given your life to Christ. Talk to Him. He cares about you.